Hey guys, Dave Rogenmoser here again with video number 3 of Facebook Ads Mastery. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to create amazing ad copy and ad images. So we're going to get into the meat of creating ads that you can profit from and that convert very well. So what we've already covered is in video number 1, we covered laying the foundation for a great ad campaign. Video number 2, we talked about how to create the pixels, custom conversions, and audiences. I gave you specific action steps for each of those. Make sure before you watch this video that those action steps are all taken care of and done, because we are going to keep on rolling. And so in this video, we're going to talk about how to create amazing ad copy and amazing ad images. And so what we're going to cover in this training here, we're going to start with an overview, kind of the art and the science of ads, and make sure we understand those well. Then we're going to talk about how to use the Facebook tracking spreadsheet that I'm going to give you. It's very important. We're going to talk about creating your winning ad copy. I'm going to cover how to choose winning ad images. Then I'm going to give you your action items and show you a bit about what is coming up next. So there's the 30,000 foot view of this training here. All right, guys, let's get started here. The art and science of ads. And so creating great ads on Facebook really, I believe, is more art than science. You know, there's no science that kind of helps you pick the exact right image, the exact right copy. You kind of have to get a feel for it. And, you know, when you look out there, like we talked about in one of the earlier videos, you know, winning at Facebook ads is less like giving you a map of a city, you know, directions step by step here. So you win with Facebook ads. You see a lot of people doing it in a lot of different ways, and they're all making money. A lot of people are making money using very different techniques and strategies, because really winning with Facebook ads is more like learning how to sail. You've got to learn how to read the ocean, sail the ocean. And so creating great ads, there are some great guidelines I'm going to give you guys, some great formulas and step-by-step tips, but it really comes down to a lot of times a little bit more art than science, which you'll learn. But the reality is, running great Facebook, once they're created and they're running, it's all science and data and almost zero art. And so we've got to understand the difference there. When you create it, you kind of take your best shot at it, but we let the data do the talking. We let the data tell us what a great ad is. But we got to get started somehow before we can get the data. And so we're going to do our best here, and that's what this video is all about, before we create our ads and let the market decide. And now I really think when it comes to creating great ads here, we've already done a lot of the legwork, because the power of a great ad comes from a deep understanding of your audience and a deep understanding of your market. And so before I create any ads, and before you guys create any ads, it's always really important to go back, revisit, read through your customer avatar, and really kind of deepen your avatar in any way that you can before creating any ads here. You know, I showed you this picture of an iceberg and how to win with Facebook advertising. It's 10% tactical. It's 10%, you know, understanding how the Facebook platform works. It's 90% social psychology, those timeless principles of understanding what keeps your prospect up at night. And it's really important to go back to that before we ever even create any Facebook ads. I can't stress this enough here. Go back right now, revisit your avatar, because it's going to help you pick your image. It's going to help you create your copy, and you want it to be fresh on your mind here right now. And obviously, you know, when we talk about marketing here, we've got to go back to the marketing triangle. So some of you guys are probably familiar with this. Some of you guys may not be. This is really what is happening in marketing. And, you know, you've got the 3 sizes, the 3 M's of marketing. So you got your market on the left, that's your audience there, you know, and you've got, you know, they're all different. You got to decide kind of exactly who your market is. And then you've got your medium, which we're all using the same medium here. We're using Facebook ads. That's figuring out what channel works to get them, to acquire them as a customer here. We're all going to use Facebook ads. So we've got to decide here, you know, what your message is. So what message is going to resonate with your particular market as they're scrolling through on Facebook? And this video is all about the message part. We've already established that we're using Facebook, and you've already established your market and your customer avatar. And this little triangle here, guys, I think about this triangle every single day, that you've got to get all 3 of these lined up to have a winning campaign. And if any of these are off, if you don't understand the medium, if you don't understand your market and you don't have a clear crafted message that's specific for your medium, then your ads aren't going to work. It doesn't matter if you have your pixels set up awesome or you're using some cool retargeting strategy, it's not going to work. And so come back to this and remember this marketing trial. Write this down right now if you haven't already kind of mastered or think about this on a regular basis here. So what we want to do in our ad copy and in our ad images, we want to describe their pain. The reality is, guys, when you can describe your customer's pain better than they can, your customer is going to assume that you have the solution. When you can go in there and use their own language, and you can, almost write a page in their diary, then they're going to assume that you have the solution. They're going to be like, wow, this guy knows me. This guy knows my pain. He has the solution. And so we want to make sure that we are describing their pain as deeply as we can, and ideally in the words that they use to describe their pain. So as we kind of get into that, here's the anatomy of a Facebook ad. You got a Facebook ad on the right here. This is one of our, we spent maybe $100,000 running this ad for a long period of time. Yes, that's me in a cowboy hat. This is some weird picture that was just a girl, one of my friends that was at this house, this little ranch in San Antonio with me. And for whatever reason, this ad always won here, which I'll get a little bit more into later. But there's kind of 5 different sections of a Facebook ad here. You've got the post text, that's what's at the top. Then you've got the image. Then you've got a headline, then a description, which is, below the headline there, and then a call to action button, which this one actually doesn't have a call to action button. Call to action button there. So those are kind of the 5 different pieces of a Facebook ad. And obviously they all have very different, varying degrees. And you might look at this, you might say, well, if my ad isn't working, then what do I need to change? What's going to have the biggest effect here? And there is a right answer. And here is kind of the bones of a Facebook ad. Here is what really affects your ad performance based on those 5 sections that I mentioned in the slide before here. So at the top, you've got the top text. Now, guys, these numbers, vary from industry to industry and vary per person, but this is generally close here. And the top text has about a 17% impact on the performance of the ad, which, is semi-high compared to the other ones, especially here. But yeah, by changing it, by making this a long form copy on top or using kind of a shorter, maybe a 1-sentence ad copy on top or making it more engaging, you can generally kind of impact your performance of your ad up or down 17%. So if, the very best one ever might have a 17% boost on an ad, and the worst one might have, negative 17% there on the ad right now. But if you really want to impact your ad and you're thinking, well, how do I affect it with the least amount of work? You're going to go to the image here. The image has by far the biggest impact on what makes an ad work versus ones that don't work. And you can see here, obviously this is a good one. Part of it, I wouldn't have thought this would be the winner. But there's some good elements here. And really it was just through the data that we tested this and spent a ton of money making this ad or testing this ad and found out it just beat all of the other variables. But it's me in a cowboy hat. We've got, a girl looking at the camera here, which kind of draws people in a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of mystique or something with me with the cowboy hat down. It's kind of like, I think you're just kind of wondering like what is happening in this picture here. But just by having a really, really quality image and finding an image that works well with your audience, you can impact your ad by up to 70%. Now, moving down the line, your headline has about a 10% effect on your ad here. The little bottom section, has about a 2%, kind of that display text. And your call to action button, which we're just always going to use, learn more. This is going to be the call to action you guys are going to always use on all of your ads here. For whatever reason, that one just kind of wins out among all of them here. It has about a 1% impact. And so literally just by changing the ad image, we can get up to 70% of the possible result boost that we can get on an ad here. And if we only wanted to worry about, two things, we would change the image and we would mess around with the top text there a little bit, guys. And that's 80-20. I mean, that's almost 90% of what affects an ad by just changing a little bit. And the image is by far the easiest thing to test and change. And so that's why the way I'm going to teach you guys to set up ads, we're really going to test the image early on there. So remember this, write this down, take a screenshot of this here, because this lets you know, what really affects an ad and the ad performance here. So how to use the Facebook spreadsheet. Now, guys, if you don't use this, if you're not tracking your stats, then I can't help you. You're going to be running ads here and probably you're going to come across some problems. You're going to come across, some things like, I don't think this is working here or whatever. And what a lot of people come to me is they'll say, I don't think this is working. And I'll say, well, tell me why, where are your stats? And they say, well, I don't really know how to track it. I don't really have the stats, but I just kind of, I've seen performance drop. And guys, this is what separates the rich from the poor, is the willingness to dig in and track. And now, guys, I am not a detailed guy. I'm not somebody who's like super type A. I don't, love budgeting. I'm not that guy. I don't like spreadsheets. But I have disciplined myself and trained myself to track the metrics because it's the only way to win here. And so if you come to me and you have questions, but you don't have this spreadsheet fully filled out and up to date, I'm not going to help you. So you have to do this. Is a mandatory part of this process and this program, is to use this spreadsheet. And I promise you, it is going to help you so much. This is not optional here. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show you how this spreadsheet works. And so you can access it there at that link right there. So go to that, pull this guy. You're going to make a copy of this and pull it into your own Google Drive. We're going to use this to build out our entire ad set. And so I'm going to kind of use this for the rest of the remaining videos here. It's where you're going to track all of your audiences, all of your ad copy ideas. We're going to track your URLs and your stats. So this thing, bookmark it, save it, bookmark it and add it to your bookmarks bar here, because you're going to pull this sucker up almost every single day. And so once you get that, copy it in your spreadsheet. You got the different audiences here. You got the different ad angles here. You're going to have your ad copy ideas in here, your funnel URLs, and your stats month by month for how your ads are doing and with your webinars here. So going back to that, we're going to use this Facebook spreadsheet. So set that up here and get that into your account. I'm going to show you how to plug stuff in there over time. And so how do we create winning ad copy? There is a process here that I follow. There's a formula that works very well. And I just want you guys to follow this formula here after me. Well, what we're first going to do is we're going to write out 4 different angles in the spreadsheet. Then we're going to choose one of those angles and we're going to write out a headline for it. And the headline I recommend using just to start off here is you just say, in little brackets here, free live training or free webinar or free masterclass. You can kind of use whatever term maybe your industry is using there, and then just put your webinar title. And so free live training, and then your webinar title, and then that's what basically the headline of your landing page is going to say there. And we're just going to use that title all throughout. So that's how we're going to start. We're not going to split test the headline right now. We're going to split test other elements of the ad as we get going. So have that. You're going to write your link description, which the link description we're going to use is just click here to register. And you'll see that as you set up the ads. I'll show you where that goes. And then you're going to write out 1 long copy and 1 short copy for your top text. Here's how we're going to create those winning ad copy right now. And when I talk about creating 4 ad angles, there's really kind of these 4 angles I want us to hit on. These are 4 different kind of angles to come at when you write your copy. Now, first of all, is we could talk about how, removal of pain here. Secondly, we could talk about, a client testimonial. Third, we can come from the angle of a first-person story of transformation. And fourthly, we could come at it with a big promise here. And so you want to go back into your Facebook tracking sheet and come to the angles tab down here. And I'm actually going to move this audience one over here. So we're starting with the ad copy. So here's the different angles. I've given you some examples here. So removal of pain. Now let's say I am marketing for a dentist. That's kind of what I've done and set up the examples for. Say I'm doing some marketing for a dentist here, and that's kind of my audience. Well, I might say, are you tired of begging people to come to your practice with free teeth whitening and other tacky promos? So I'm kind of saying, hey, right now you have this pain, you're begging people, and I'm going to help you kind of remove that pain. So that's kind of the angle I'm coming at them with is, hey, let's remove the pain that's already happening in your life there. Now, the second one would be a client testimonial. If you've got client testimonials already, you can come at it from this angle. This would be in quotes. Before working with Dave, my dental practice was good, but I never knew where to spend my marketing dollars each month. It wasn't until we tried Dave's Facebook ad system for dentists that everything clicked. That would be a whole different way to run your ad copy right there. Thirdly would be a first-person story of transformation, where instead of talking about these, you're coming at it just from your own first person. 12 years ago, I had just bought my first dental practice. This won't work for everyone necessarily, but if you've got a story that lines up with your audience, maybe you are your audience, and maybe you 3 years ago was exactly who your audience is now. A first-person story of transformation can be very, very powerful, and they can resonate with that because people love stories. They love following stories. They love reading stories. We are engineered. Our brains are wired to track and follow stories there. So that can be really powerful. And then the fourth angle to come from is kind of the big promise. How would you like to have so many new patients to your practice each month that you never have to worry about the marketing budget and you can pay your staff Christmas bonuses? That's kind of a little cutesy opening line there. I would actually probably shorten that to like less than 10 to 15 words instead of this being so many. But yeah, that's kind of okay. That's the big promise here, is that if you keep reading this ad, you're going to get to be able to do this, and you're going to have so many people coming into your practice. And so what I want you to do, right now is just to kind of come in. You can delete all of my examples here and just kind of brainstorm your own ideas. Brainstorm the removal of pain. What's the pain that your audience has that you can kind of remove? And you might just keep mine up there, actually, and then write yours off to the right so you can still see what my examples were here. But go through and just write out 4 different angles and really just kind of be creative. Let your mind go wherever. Some of them are going to be bad. Most of the ads, honestly, that I write out are not good ads, and it just takes me writing out 10 different versions to like really kind of go back and pick one. So don't worry about writing a bad ad, but go through there and write out 4 different ones. Maybe you want to write out 8, maybe you want to write 2 of each ones, write out a bunch of them, and then we're just going to pick one of those angles to start with here. And if you're not sure, I'd recommend either starting with kind of the first person story of transformation, or kind of the big promise here would probably be the one that I would start with. And so go through to write out some of those examples, and we're going to pull those in here later. Let's talk about long copy versus short copy here. So here's kind of the different examples here, and you're going to pick one of these angles. You're going to kind of write out a long copy and a short copy version. Now, long copy looks like this. It kind of is telling you everything that you need to know before you click on the ad. And so it's kind of acting like a landing page, to be honest with you. I'm kind of putting all my bullet points on there. I'm writing, kind of meeting them where they're at, writing to their pain, building up desire, giving them a call to action so that when they click on it, they actually have a really high chance of converting because they already pretty much know what's on the next page. Now, that's versus more of a short copy here on the right-hand side. And you can see how much shorter it is. I'm giving them a little bit of a hook, but most of the information is on the landing page. Honestly, this is probably not even an amazing example. You could go a lot shorter. You could have maybe 5 sentences on the short copy, or maybe even just 2 or 3 sentences right there, and they get all the information on the landing page. So I want you to take time and write out one version of a long copy and one version of short copy. We're going to use that in the ads there. So have that set up here, and just take some time and write that out as you get going here. Now, again, a long copy kind of tells them everything they need to know before clicking. Then a short copy tells them a little bit, but they need to decide after the click. And here's a little tip for you guys about what I'm seeing working right now is that we've been seeing long copy win out and beat short copy there, but test it for yourself, test it in your market. We're going to test out both of them here early on in the ad creation process, but we have been seeing long copy working better right now in the market by kind of telling them everything that they need to know. It seems like Facebook is kind of favoring people that have long copy, and that this gives us really, really high conversion rates on the landing page when they go through there, and actually they know what they're doing once they click on that. So write out both of those, using one of the different angles. Now you might be saying, well, Dave, I'm not a copywriter. I've never written ads before. How do I kind of write this? Well, there's a really basic copywriting formula that I go back to over and over and over. It's AIDA. You can use this for writing emails. You can use this for writing ad copy. You can use this for writing anything. It's a basic way to kind of write your copy here. And it goes like this. So there's attention, interest, desire, and action. Those are the 4 different parts of the copywriting formula here. And attention, your ad might start off like this. Would you like to have unlimited leads? That would be a really great opening line for, particular market with a particular service. So you're kind of capturing their attention here. You might even say, are you a chiropractor? Or I'll stick with dentist. Are you a dentist scratching your head when it comes to marketing? When it comes to online marketing, that might be something that actually captures their attention because they're kind of alerted already. They're just scrolling through on their phone. And remember, they're probably on the toilet when they're looking through their phone right now and scrolling through Facebook. So it's got to catch their attention right away. And some people will respond to that. You're kind of racking the shotgun. You're kind of, creating the initial attention grabbing sound that kind of gets them to turn their head and think, okay, this is for me there. So you want to start with some attention. Then you want to create some interest here. A good way to say it might be, I discovered this proven system. You want to build some intrigue. You might say something more along the lines of 12 years ago, I found the marketing and it changed everything. 12 years ago is probably not 3 years ago. This would be kind of if you're coming from a first person point of view. So you want to create some interest that lets them know, okay, I need to keep reading here because this might solve my pain. And then you want to create some desire here. And so, you could keep talking a little bit, but then you're going to get to the point where you might say, you'll learn how to get real freedoms. And so what's the benefit of them to keep reading here? What are they going to get out of it? What's that desire? You want to kind of push their hot button points. And so you can get, maybe dentists want freedom. That's what some markets want. Maybe in your avatar, you've realized that they want something else. Maybe dentists, you'll learn to sell your practice and travel the world. Maybe as you're kind of, uncovering the pains and the desires and the hopes and the dreams of dentists, they all want to, sell their practice by the age of 60 and get out of there and go do their stuff. So you're kind of creating some desire there. And then the action would be to click the link to register. So you want to make sure you have a call to action here in it. So call to action and let them know what they're supposed to do. What's the action that you want them to take, guys? And this is just a really basic flow that you can tweak towards anything in a age-old copywriting formula people have been using for dozens and dozens of years and works over and over. So remember this, kind of just think through that formula as you write. So when I took all that and kind of put it into my winning ad copy, this is my long form copy here. I'm going to break down exactly kind of what points I went through in this, and you can go copy this yourself here. So, I start off with a big hook there. The line I used was, you're only one great webinar away from freedom. That's kind of a big hook. That's kind of, you're kind of scrolling and you think, wait a minute, what is that? That's kind of an interesting big hook. Then I kind of go into the story here, section number 2. Over the past 14 months, I've personally hosted 82 webinars. Okay, that's a story. So they're starting to read there. An amazing result. What do I say for the amazing result? I'm kind of going into my story about living in a fraternity house and all that. Oh, and then I say, that process has transformed my life, made me more money in such a short amount of time than I ever imagined. That's kind of the amazing result. Then I say, okay, I'm hosting a live training here. This coming Tuesday, I'm hosting a live training where I'm breaking down my strategy and showing you how to pull it off in your business. I'm kind of letting them know, okay, well, now that I've kind of got you hooked, well, here's what's happening. I'm kind of building that interest here and kind of building that desire. Okay, the benefit they'll receive from that training. So after they kind of know about the training, I want to really reinforce why they should show up. So I'll tell you up front, if you're looking for the flash marketing stuff, I can't help you. That's not my game. But if you want to learn a proven system that my clients are using to mop up the competition, maybe if that's what they want here, then join me on this live landing. Click here to register. So yeah, click here to register, and then what you'll cover specifically. So I say in the next 60 minutes, you're going to see bam, 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 the 3 main things I'm going to talk about here. I know you guys maybe aren't quite sure what you're going to talk about yet. That's okay. Just kind of put some bullet points in there if you want the benefit. So if you want to learn how you can use this proven method to launch or grow your business, kind of wrapping it all up into a bow there, then another CTA, click here to register now, and be sure to actually show up next Tuesday. Okay, click here to register now. That is the basic formula I use for long copy. And you guys can go through and kind of look back, take a screenshot of this here right now, look back and yeah, go through that here. So there is your long copy formula. All right, guys. So what you'll need to do here is go through, write out some different examples of ad copy, and you're just going to go into your sheet here. You're going to pull off some of your ideas here, and you're just going to go into writing some ad copy ideas. And here's where you're going to put, the top text, or the headline is going to be here. The top text is going to be here. You're going to have your description. You're going to have your ad image here. And we're about to get to the ad image. So go through and fill out a couple different rows here and get some ideas flowing. All right, on to finding good images. Now, your image has the best effect on your ad performance. It's what changes it the most here. And so we want to make sure that we get some really good testing of images early on, because the reality is, guys, it's hard to tell what image is going to work in a market. It's just kind of random sometimes here. So we just want to do a good job of testing, let the market tell us what a good image is. But here's some tips for getting started. Now, your image, it should stand out and cause emotion. You need to think through the question: if you couldn't use words on your ad, what image would you choose that really kind of captures the emotion that your ad is talking about there? So your image should be in line with what your landing page is. It should be in line with, how your ad is written. Don't just put something totally random that causes a bunch of emotion, but it should really tie in with your entire marketing campaign here. Your image should have kind of a pattern interrupt as they quickly scroll. Remember, they're on the toilet, or they're driving in the car, or they're about to walk into a meeting when they're on Facebook, and they're not really looking to get distracted and kind of go register for some webinar. You've got to kind of stop them as they scroll. And so we want to have bright colors and something that stands out from the actual platform of Facebook right there. You need to make sure your image is relevant to your audience and relevant to what you're offering. You need to have alignment there. If you're just selling Invisalign stuff, you can't, just put a thing of a lion and just to kind of, spook them, or kind of to stop them from scrolling, because once they read it's about Invisalign, it's not going to make sense there unless you tie it in with a lion somehow. And so make sure there's you're not just capturing their interest, but it has alignment with what your ad copy says, with your landing page and all that. And a little tip that I have found works most of the time is to use smiling faces looking at the camera. So when in doubt, that's probably going to win out, but we're always going to test and see if that is true or not, because when you run the ads, we're going to use data to find out what the market really wants. We're just using this as a starting point here. So choosing your ad images, we're going to start with 4 very different images. People make the mistake a lot of times of split testing, very similar things. And when you start off, you want all of your variables to be very different, because if they're very similar, you have to have a whole lot of clicks to get a really significant split test happening. To have a real winner, you'd have to have tons of clicks, because they're just going to be so similar. So we want to start initially with 4 very different images, because it allows us to find a winner without spending that much on traffic. And so here's the 4 different images I recommend you guys get started with. The first one's going to be a person smiling and looking at the camera with no text on there. A lot of times we have ads that win that don't have any text written over the top of them. So for me, I just grab a lot of photos just off of my Facebook. So, if you can use you can use some sort of stock photo, you can use somebody in your industry, as long as you have their permission. Typically what works best for us, though, is just a picture of me looking at the camera and smiling, even with no text. It can work well. So that's going to be number 1. The second one is going to be the same as number 1, but you're going to have top text over the top of it. And remember the 20% rule. Now, this is a rule where Facebook used to ban and block your image if you had more than 20% text on there. But now you can actually go over 20% text, but Facebook kind of throttles the traffic. And so in essence, they want your ads to look like pictures. They don't want them to look like ads. And so the less addy, is that a word? It's not a word. The less like ads that your ads actually look, the more Facebook is incentivized to show them, because they want the newsfeed to be pretty organic there. And so if you do go over 20%, you're probably going to get throttled. And so we want to make sure we're still under 20%, even though we're allowed to go over. The third one you're going to use is kind of just a stock photo with no text over the top of it. And then another thing we're going to use is a colorful designed image with no text over the top. And actually you could do, no text or text over the top of that. We're going to see how these work here. Typically, again, what works is number 1 or number 2, but in some markets, sometimes when you run to cold traffic, we will see number 3 or number 4 work well. But to say if you're running it at a custom audience or a lookalike audience, an audience of people that know you, the number 1 or number 2 with your smiling face on there will almost certainly win out. But if the people do not know you yet and you're kind of coming from nothing, you have straight cold traffic, then number 3 or number 4 might perform better. I would still bet on number 1 and number 2. So here's 4 examples for you guys. Number 1, picture of you. Number 2, this would be actually the same picture. It's kind of what I told you guys, but it's a similar example here. It's me with just really kind of the headline of our webinar here on there, and then a little arrow to click below. I just made this using canva.com. If you're familiar with that, really easy way to go do kind of some design work like this. Number 3 is just a picture of a desk here. It's kind of the stock photo. And then number 4 is just kind of, again, it's not branded to my face. It's just kind of a, colorful designed image. You can make this inside Canva or somewhere like that. Just kind of, as an ad that doesn't have any face or anything like that. So these obviously are all 4 like very different images here. These are probably the 2 most similar here, but one has text and one doesn't. We're going to see which one of these 4 works the best early on. A couple different resources for you guys to go out there and find your images. You can use adespresso.com/academy/ads examples. This is a really good site here for kind of going and finding examples. One site I really love that I found recently is addicted.io, where you can go through and you actually find all the different ads that are running out there on Facebook. Now I upgraded to a premium account, which kind of lets you search a ton, but you can do a lot even for free. And so let's say I'm running ads about webinars. What I might do here is go in and type in webinars. At this, okay, cool. So I've got all these ads of people that are kind of talking about webinars. Okay, the 6 to 8 figure webinar accelerator. And what I'm wanting to do is just kind of see, how are people talking? What are the winning ads like here? And kind of what are they doing? So there's this Joel Irway guy. Joel's a guy that I actually know is a good guy. Talking about webinar marketing, his webinar accelerator. Okay, so he's using the word free workshop. That kind of lets me know what I can use in the title. Here they're using free training, how to use webinars to generate revenue. Okay, I'm just kind of seeing hassle-free webinars for entrepreneurs, just kind of learning what are people talking about. Are they using long text or short text? What I also want to do here is I want to kind of filter out the ads that aren't performing as well. I'm going to go through, I'm going to click on, see if there's any ads over 100 likes. Let's find those now. Okay, so these are the ones that have over 100 likes. Let's say over 10 comments. I want to find the ads that have been running for a while, because if they've been running for a while, then we know that they're making money and that they're profitable, that they're working here. So, this is all about how to create a 7-figure webinar. So free new live masterclass. I'm kind of learning from the wording here. This masterclass is live and it's free. It's kind of what he is using there. I can kind of see what image he's using. He's using a picture of himself also with some overlay over here. Looks kind of similar to some of the ads that I showed you here. So he's kind of doing that whole thing. Here's another one of him with some text over there and kind of some nicely designed stuff. Okay, the webinar script here. It's Russell Brunson with a little bit of text over the top. So you can see what's working here. And it looks like in general, having text over the top is working better here. And so what I would do, guys, for you is just go through here and just kind of search for some different keywords in your niche. Search for the keywords of things that you're working on. So maybe you want to do fitness. Come through here, you can find the ones that have a whole lot of likes. Maybe we can even do 1,000 likes and see what is happening in the fitness industry with over 1,000 likes. Say a little new fitness apparel. Okay, anyway, you can kind of learn from all of this, and then basically you just want to draft off these and kind of copy what is happening there. If you need to use, find some stock images, one site I really like is unsplash.com here. Come and you can just, type in, desk, I think is where I got that one image. I could run an ad, with just one of these images here and kind of see how a stock photo does. You can use all this, it's royalty free. Add images here. Yeah, this is a really cool site. So you can use that, and then obviously come back here to the Facebook ads gallery. This is just another one. You can find, all different industries. So for me, I would go marketing. Let's say I wanted to go, dentist. Come here, dentist. Okay, so these are ads that are running at dentists. I don't like this as much as you can't really see how long they've been running and kind of see the different likes and stuff, because if it's not working well, then I don't really want to copy it. So I want to find ones that have lots of likes. I can come back here, dentist with maybe over 100 likes. Okay, masters in clinical dentistry. So these are more dentists that are already doing ads. Okay, anyway, you can come through here and you can kind of learn from the ads what's working in your particular industry. Really, spend like an hour kind of going through there. And one thing I did, guys, I went through with different keywords like marketing, and I'm just kind of going through, and then I went and just kind of highlighted and kind of copied all the ones. So I used Droppler here. You can download Droppler, D-R-O-P-L-R. And I just took screenshots of like all the best ads out there. And I just put them all into a folder. And so I have a ton of different ads that are proven to work in my industry that I save and I go look at before I create any ads. So you want to start building up a folder of those inside your business there to get really effective. So yeah, go through there and then just make sure your dimensions of your ad are 1200 by 627. Those are what work across all the different placements on desktop, on mobile, and right hand column, and all the different spots, Instagram. So make sure your image dimensions are that size and you are good to go. And so yeah, look through the ad libraries for inspiration, find 4 images, add text over the image, and then add image links to your spreadsheet. And so what I would do, is kind of, take your images here. So let's say I go back to Unsplash. Okay, I want to use this one here. I'm going to download this. And then again, I just use Droppler. So I'm going to take this. So in this case, I would take this. How do I get this off? Okay, cool. I just dragged that off onto my deal here. I'm going to take that. I'm going to put it up in Droppler. So it's kind of loading right now. And then I will just put the image in here. It's a little link it created for me. You can see if I open that up here, it has my image here. So I can kind of hang on to that. So yeah, Droppler is really cool tool for just hosting any sort of folder or anything that you need. You can just drag it up there and it hosts it for you there and creates a little link. And so yeah, at this point, guys, go through here and make sure that all of your ad copy is written out, that you have 4 different images that are all very different, and you will be good to go. So kind of the action items from this lesson here, guys: open up the Facebook ad tracking and planning spreadsheet, create 4 angles and 1 long and short form ad copy, and then decide on 4 different images, and you are set. And so that takes it for this lesson here. In the next one, we're going to talk about how to find and build your audiences, how to dial in your targeting and make sure that you are running your new ads and your new images to the right people so we can make some money. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video.